The air crackled. Tension hung heavy. On one side stood Prixony, a warrior of renowned cunning, flanked by his loyal companions, Paul and Gabor. They were a formidable force, united by a bond of brotherhood forged in countless battles. Opposite them stood King Albert, his face a mask of grim determination. By his side were Vincent, his most trusted lieutenant, and TiloDerForsch, a warrior whose bravery was matched only by his unwavering loyalty. The cause of the conflict was a matter of history, lost in a tangle of broken oaths and ancient grudges. What mattered now was the battle to come, a clash of steel and fury that would decide the fate of both factions. The two sides faced each other across a desolate plain, the silence broken only by the whistling wind. Each warrior knew the risks, the possibility of a swift and brutal end, yet none wavered. This was a fight they were prepared to die for. The first clash came with the roar of a charging bull. Prixony, ever the aggressor, led the charge, his battle cry echoing across the battlefield. His assault was met head-on by King Albert's forces. Steel met steel in a deadly dance. The clang of swords, the cries of the wounded, and the thunder of charging feet filled the air. Paul, a whirlwind of blades, cut a bloody swathe through the enemy ranks. His skill with a sword was unmatched, each strike precise and deadly. Gabor, a giant of a man, fought with the strength of a bear. His mighty axe crashed down, cleaving through shields and armor as if they were mere twigs. On the other side, TiloDerForsch fought with the fury of a cornered wolf. His every blow spoke of his unwavering loyalty to King Albert, his determination to protect his liege. Vincent, however, fought with a detached precision, his eyes darting across the battlefield, taking in the ebb and flow of the fight. The tide of battle ebbed and flowed. Each side fought with the desperation of men fighting for their lives. But as the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the battlefield, tragedy struck. TiloDerForsch, his courage never failing, found himself surrounded. He fought like a demon, his sword a blur of silver, but the odds were against him. He fell, pierced by a dozen wounds, his sacrifice buying precious time for his king. No sooner had TiloDerForsch fallen than a cry of anguish ripped through the air. Gabor, his strength finally failing him, collapsed to his knees, an arrow protruding from his chest. He looked towards Prixony, his eyes filled with regret and sorrow, before the light faded from them. The deaths of TiloDerForsch and Gabor seemed to steal the fight from both sides. The clash of steel faltered, replaced by an eerie silence. It was Vincent who broke the stalemate. With a roar of rage, he turned on King Albert, his blade flashing out to leave a bloody gash across the king's chest. Betrayal. It hung in the air, thick and heavy as the stench of blood. King Albert stared at his former lieutenant, his eyes wide with shock and hurt. He had trusted Vincent, treated him like a son. "Why?" he croaked, his voice barely a whisper. Vincent said nothing. He simply sheathed his sword and walked towards Prixony, who watched him with a cold, calculating gaze. "He is weak," Vincent said, his voice devoid of emotion. "I will make you strong." Prixony nodded, a grim smile spreading across his face.